If you want to create an efficient video time-lapse in DaVinci Resolve 20, this tutorial will walk you through the fastest workflow step by step. Whether you're speeding up a long recording, creating a quick cinematic montage, or turning hours of footage into a short dynamic clip, this method will help you do it cleanly and efficiently. And if you find this helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more DaVinci Resolve tutorials just like this. Let's start with the first step. On your timeline, find the video clip you want to turn into a time-lapse. Right-click directly on that clip, and from the menu, choose Change Clip Speed. This opens the Change Clip Speed dialog, which gives you a fast and direct way to increase the playback speed numerically, instead of manually stretching or trimming the clip. It's a simple tool, but it's one of the most effective ways to compress long footage into a short time-lapse sequence. Now, in the speed field, enter a high value, such as 1000% or even 2000%, depending on how dramatic you want the effect to be. The higher the percentage, the more your footage gets compressed, which means long recordings can be reduced down to just a few seconds. This is especially useful for construction shots, clouds moving across the sky, city traffic, screen recordings, or any scene where you want to show progress over time in a fast, visually engaging way. Before you confirm the change, make sure the Ripple Timeline checkbox is enabled. This is a very important step because it tells DaVinci Resolve to automatically close the gap left behind by the shortened clip. Without Ripple enabled, you may end up with empty space on the timeline and have to manually move your following clips back into place. Turning this on saves time and keeps your edit organized and seamless. Once that is set, click Change to apply the speed adjustment. Your clip will immediately shorten according to the percentage you entered, and your timeline will update accordingly. At this point, you've already created the basic time-lapse speed change, but there's another step that can help make playback smoother and more efficient. Next, open the Inspector panel and go to the Retime and Scaling section. This is where DaVinci Resolve stores important processing settings for how your sped-up footage is rendered. If you want the fastest and lightest performance, look for the Retime process setting. For a time-lapse clip, set it to Nearest. Nearest Neighbor is the most computationally efficient option because it simply drops frames instead of creating blended frames or doing more complex interpolation. That makes it ideal when speed and responsiveness matter more than motion smoothing. Using Nearest can help keep your edit timeline lighter, especially if you're working with multiple clips, effects, or high-resolution footage. It's a smart choice when the goal is to preview the result quickly and keep the system running smoothly during the edit. If your project is very demanding, this step can make a noticeable difference in overall playback performance. After that, go up to the Playback menu, choose Render Cache, and then select Smart. This tells DaVinci Resolve to begin pre-rendering parts of the timeline in the background. With Smart Cache enabled, your time-lapse section can play back much more smoothly because the software prepares those frames ahead of time instead of trying to calculate everything live while you edit. This is especially helpful on slower systems or when you're working with heavy projects and want a stable editing experience. Once Smart Caching is turned on, give DaVinci Resolve a little time to process the section you changed. You may notice the render indicator begin to appear as the software builds the cache. When it finishes, playback should feel much more responsive, letting you review your time-lapse with fewer drops, less lag, and a cleaner workflow overall. So to quickly recap, the process is simple. Right-click the clip, choose Change Clip Speed, raise the percentage to a high value like 1000 or 2000%, enable Ripple Timeline, then go into the inspector and set Retime Process to Nearest. Finally, turn on Render Cache Smart from the Playback menu for smoother performance. If this video helped you out, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss more quick editing guides. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.